program is The Active Center. It's created by David Sappe.
Pronounced Seppi.
Pronounced Seppi.
You know, when we think about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy, our minds usually jump to the huge social and legal milestones. And for good reason. But there's this powerful, often overlooked side to the story that we're going to explore today. Its economic impact. So let's start with a question you've probably never asked yourself. We've all seen the images of MLK Day parades, right? But have you ever wondered about their economic price tag? Or maybe, even more importantly, their economic value? Well, for a lot of cities, it turns out this holiday drives something called cultural tourism. It's a day where remembering the past actually transforms directly into commerce in the present, creating this powerful local economic engine. And to see this in action, we're going to zoom in on St. Petersburg, Florida. It's home to the nation's longest-running MLK Day parade. And believe me, for this city, that parade is a certified annual economic boom. So what does that boom actually look like in dollars and cents? Let's really break down how one single parade can translate into real, tangible economic value for an entire community. Get this, the estimated annual economic impact of this one parade? Over $1 million. That's right, $1.05 million, all generated during a single holiday weekend. It's an incredible example of the financial power behind these kinds of commemorative events. Okay, so where in the world does that $1 million come from? Well, when you break it down, it's pretty clear it's driven by tourism. We're talking about roughly 1,200 hotel rooms getting booked and thousands of visitors spending their money at local restaurants and shops. And all that spending by visitors has a direct benefit for the city itself. It generates somewhere between $70,000 and $85,000 in direct sales tax revenue. And that's money that can be reinvested right back into community programs. Now, a huge part of the parade's success is something organizers call the HBCU effect. It's pretty brilliant, actually. They feature these amazing marquee marching bands from historically Black colleges and universities. This creates a massive draw for proud alumni and fans who travel from all over, which of course boosts revenue for everything from transportation to hotels. And the impact goes way beyond just that one weekend. Events that are connected to the parade, like a Battle of the Bands, have raised over $700,000 in scholarship money. This creates this amazing cycle where commemoration directly funds the next generation's education and their own economic mobility. So this local economic activity is really just one piece of a much, much larger story. Let's zoom out now from a single parade to see the massive economic transformation that was sparked by the civil rights movement as a whole. It literally twisted the nation's economic trendline. I love that metaphor from our source material. The movement initiated a twist in the American economic trendline. Think about it. By breaking down legal barriers to participation, it didn't just change laws. It fundamentally altered the nation's entire trajectory by unlocking the economic potential of millions of people. This slide really helps anchor us in that historical context. You have 1964 and the Civil Rights Act. That was the legislative turning point. And then we can use 1968 as the sort of benchmark year to measure the before. This lets us clearly see the long-term economic fruits of that pivotal era in the after, which is, well, today. So what does that national transformation actually look like in the numbers? Well, the data shows some profound progress in wealth, education, and even health that really stemmed directly from the changes made back in that era. Education was a huge vehicle for this change. I mean, back in 1968, only about half of young Black adults had a high school diploma. Today, that figure is over 92%. At the same time, the rate of college graduation has more than doubled, which helped fuel a huge expansion of the Black middle class. And of course, that increase in education translated directly into income. If you look at the period between 1968 and 2016, inflation-adjusted income for the typical African-American household grew by nearly 43%. That's a rate that actually outpaced the growth for white households during that same period. This rising income had a really dramatic effect on poverty. In 1968, more than a third of African Americans lived below the poverty line. Today, that number has been slashed to around 21%. And the benefits weren't just financial. This is incredible. Since the 1960s, life expectancy for African Americans has increased by over 11 years. And that's a direct result of better living standards and improved access to healthcare that came with greater economic opportunity. But look, this isn't just a history lesson. The economic benefits of that era aren't just stuck in the past. Nope, they continue to multiply throughout our economy today, creating this powerful ripple effect. Economists have a name for this. It's the multiplier effect. When millions of Black men and women were finally able to enter higher skilled jobs, it didn't just benefit them, it significantly boosted the growth of the entire U.S. economy. It just goes to show that empowering one segment of the population really can lift everybody up. And that really brings us to the core thesis of this whole explainer. The data shows us, from a local parade all the way to huge national trends, that equality is an investment. It is not a cost. It yields real, measurable returns for everyone. So, all of this leaves us with one final big question. If the last 60 years have proven the incredible return we get on investing in equality, what's the next investment we need to make?